going to stay focused. Excuse me.
I tried that before. Did you tell President Trump that Karon is illegal? Do you know? The pardon of those officers is unconditional? Is very much like basic as I said. Do you know the pardons of these officers is very much unconstitutional? Do you understand that?
Ms. Hylton, I'm happy to talk to you following this briefing.
Don't touch me.
Ms. Hylton, if you would step outside,
I tried
I'm happy
to talk to you. I tried to ask you, and I'm asking you again. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not put your hands on me. Do not put your hands on me. Did you tell President Trump that Karon is illegal?
No.
Do not touch me. You didn't tell him that. Okay. So when he said that, did you tell him?
Ms. Hylton,
do
I
not
can't.
touch me.
Ms. Hylton,
do not put your hands on me.
Ms.
Do
Hylton.
not put your hands on me. You did not tell him that. Did you let him know that the pardon of those officers are unconstitutional? Do not touch me.
Ms.
Do not
Hylton,
put your hands.
Ms.
Did you tell
Hylton.
him that? I asked you before. Did you tell him
No,
that?
Ms. Hylton, I haven't talked to the president about your son.
Don't touch me. I made my point. I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And shout out to the mother of Karon Hylton Brown, who lost his life in a police chase, in an illegal police chase in 2020, which the officers involved tried to cover up their role in his demise. Those officers were sentenced or convicted in 2022, and they were sentenced at the end of 2024 in September. One for like 4 years, one for 5 years. I'll go over those charges later in the video. However, they have recently been pardoned. I think it was in January that the President Trump pardoned these guilty criminal cops. And there you see once again our dear sister. Shout out to the sister who was confronting the black mayor of D.C. about the pardon and also the fact that her son was called an illegal by President Trump. Now I'm going to show you the video of some of the crash, but also I'm going to show you and tell you how these officers, and these officers are Terrence Sutton, I think he was 40 years old, and Andrew Lebowski, about 56-year-old. Both of these individuals chased Karon, caused his demise, and then attempted to cover it up. But let me just play this video once again about the pardon and the circumstances behind our young brother's demise.
Breaking just moments ago, we are learning that one of those MPD officers we just talked about has been pardoned by President Trump. Andrew Zabowski and Terrence Sutton were both convicted in the death of Karon Hylton Brown back in 2020. Now, Zabowski was just pardoned. We are still waiting to learn about Sutton. Our 7 News' Felicia Ashley is live in Northwest tonight because, Felicia, you spoke to Brown's partner and her outrage about these developments.
That's right, and I actually spoke with her earlier today, and at that time, President Donald Trump said he had plans to pardon both officers. I literally just texted her just a moment ago and broke the news to her that one of the officers was officially pardoned, and she said that she is in complete shock. I'm actually standing in the alley. This is the alley where the 2 officers chased Karon. This is the spot where he ended up getting hit by an incoming car. And what prosecutors say they did after is what got them in trouble. Prosecutors say that both officers tried to cover this up. Not only did they tell that driver to go away, they never took witness statements or reported it. This is 20-year-old Karon Hylton Brown with his baby girl. She turned 3 months old the day he died.
She wanted to give her ice cream so bad, get a little taste of it. But yeah, no, that was the conversation. He was supposed to come back to us.
He didn't. And take a look at why. This is body camera video. MPD Officer Terrence Sutton and Lieutenant Andrew Zabowski were sentenced after prosecutors claimed they illegally chased Brown. In trial, the officers said they chased him because he was riding on the sidewalk without a helmet.
To only have 4 to 5 years and have yet to even serve one inside of a jail is kind of absurd. I mean, Like, I don't get it.
Well, we're looking at two police officers, actually, that Washington police officers who went after an illegal, and things happened and they ended up putting them in jail. We got to give them a break.
We learned he was referring to Sutton and Zabavsky. When you heard President Donald Trump refer to Karon as an illegal,
Right. I kind of thought it was comical, honestly, because I don't know who told him that. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know if it's because he was on a moped.
He wasn't even moving, he was looking for his keys. And then they harassed him, and Judge Friedman said that he had the right to flee.
Davis Schertz represents Karon's family.
What they're doing is they have renegade officers like Officer Sutton, who has a reputation for chasing people, for taking drugs and money from the guys that he has arrested. And we have affidavits to that effect.
Just showing how much power the police have.
Now, I reached out to the White House press office to ask them where President Donald Trump got the claim that Karon was an alleged illegal, which is not true. So, of course, when we get the latest updates, we will give that to you. We're also still waiting for the developments when it comes to Officer Sutton. So as soon as you get that information, we'll provide that to you as well. But for now, we are reporting live in Northwest D.C. Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
And there you see our dear brother, who was 20 years old the day of his demise. Today, he would probably be about 25. And so you saw the article about how these officers illegally chased this man. His lawyer said that he wasn't even moving on the sidewalk. He was stationary. He didn't have a helmet. And the officers began to harass him. At that point, he took off. They said that the officers chased him, as you saw, at a high rate of speed, and even chasing him down a one-way street. Now, at the moment, right before the crash happened, they said that they chased him in that alley, and the officer hit his sirens, cut off his sirens and his lights, and accelerated behind our dear brother. And when he turned the corner, you can see the moment of impact. He sustained traumatic injuries to his brain and succumbed to the injuries 2 days later on October the 25th. And these officers originally tried to cover up the fact that there was even a police chase. They allowed the individual who hit him to leave the scene 20 minutes later, at which that time they cut off their body cameras and conferred for quite some time while they got their story together. They did not even take eyewitnesses' statements. And they didn't call the Internal Affairs Division or anybody to investigate what happened. One officer even drove his cruiser over the crime scene, the place where Karon previously lay. They did not secure the crime scene or take any evidentiary measures to indicate what had happened. And let's go over the charges that they were charged with. Sutton was found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on December the 21 of second-degree M-word conspiracy to obstruct and obstructive justice. Same jury found Zabavsky guilty of conspiracy to obstruct and obstruction of justice. And one of them received 66 months, which is basically 5 years, and one of them received 48 months, which is basically 4 years. Now, Here's what the evidence showed. The trial showed at the time of the offense, Sutton was assigned to the crime suppression team, blah, 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 blah. Friday, October the 23rd, 2020, the officers observed Hylton Brown, 20, driving a moped, helmetless, on a sidewalk in the Brightwood Park area of northwestern Washington. Mr. Hylton Brown, who was unarmed, ignored Sutton's attempt to stop and drove off. Sutton then began chasing Mr. Hylton Brown on neighborhood streets for minutes, over more than 10 blocks at unreasonable speeds, and at one point proceeding the wrong way up a one-way street. In the pursuit's final moment, Sutton followed Mr. Hylton Brown into a narrow alley, turned off his car's emergency lights and siren, and accelerated behind the moped. When Mr. Hylton Brown reached the street at the mouth of the alley, he was struck by an uninvolved oncoming motorist. As Mr. Hylton Brown lay unconscious in the street in a pool of his own blood, Sutton and Zabowski agreed to cover up what Sutton had done to prevent any further investigation. Now, these are more details. Neither Sutton, as the lead officer, or Zabowski preserved the crash scene for investigators. They allowed the driver of the car that struck Hylton Brown to leave the scene within 20 minutes of the crash. They then turned off their own body-worn cameras, conferred privately, and left. Zabowski designated no other MPD official to supervise the scene upon his own departure. Sutton further compromised the integrity of the crash by driving his MPD car directly over the crash site, audibly crushing pieces of debris from the collision as they left. At no point did either defendant contact MPD's major crash unit or its internal affairs division. Also, they continued their cover-up back at the police station. First, they misled their commanding officer about the nature of the incident by substantially downplaying its seriousness, denying that a police chase had even occurred, and omitting any mention of Hylton Brown's critical injuries. Zabowski also falsely implied that Mr. Hylton Brown had been drunk. Both defendants hid their direct involvement in the incident, thereby avoiding the assignment of other uninvolved MPD officials to investigate what happened. Sutton drafted a police report that memorialized a false narrative of the incident. Despite video evidence to the contrary, his false narrative gave the impression that no police pursuit had occurred, that officers had lost sight of Mr. Hylton Brown and were engaged in a canvass of him in the area until shortly before the crash, and that officers were wholly uninvolved with the fatal collision in either way. And I'll stop right there. So that is the involvement of those officers and their cover-up. And the fact, as the sister said, that these officers had not even spent a day in jail of the 5.5 years and the 4 years that they were convicted of. And the mayor, who is black, was so unbothered by Mrs. Brown's anger towards her and towards the pardoning of those officers under her tutelage. Ms. Brown continues to say, well, I tried to talk to you, Ms. Hylton Brown. I tried to talk to you outside. And these black gatekeepers are the absolute worst. Could you please step outside? Out, if you will, I will talk to you later. And if you watch the end of the video, she just lifts her hand like the lady is not even human. And so shout out to, Miss Hylton Brown and, her tenacity to address these people. Once again, all skin folks ain't kin folks. Black faces in high places are irrelevant when they don't stand for what is right, when they go for the status quo, when they hold their positions of power more than their morality to stand for what is right. And I see this all the time, and it's a shame that people will stand up there and just try to dismiss that lady. The lady said, I tried to talk to you, but you wouldn't talk to me. And so now I got to come at you like this. And I'm the bad guy. Shout out to the mother once again. Get your hands off me. Don't touch me. That's right, mama. And, you know, my prayers and condolences go to the Hylton family, in which, once again, I wouldn't have heard about this unless, you know, it wasn't shared into one of the groups that I'm in. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this decision in the comments. Evidently, what people most feared about Trump is, you know, coming true, that these officers would, you know, have full immunity. To we got to give him a break, you know. And he misquoted saying that, you know, our young brother wasn't illegal. He probably know he wasn't illegal, but that was a way he can justify, you know, giving the officers a so-called break. But y'all let me know what y'all think. 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.